Welcome back to another episode of Truly Hoops, where we're truly all about NBA basketball. And judging by the title of this video, I'm guessing you guys are thinking that I know absolutely nothing about NBA basketball, and that's fine as long as you subscribe and help me on my journey to failure. But in all seriousness, I want to talk about Ben Simmons, and honestly, I think he's 99.9%, gonna get traded from Philadelphia this offseason. But in saying that, a part of me thinks that this actually might be a mistake. And I know you guys think that's crazy and all that, but let me just take you down the path of, my feelings on Ben Simmons. As you know, Ben Simmons is Australian. I'm Australian as well. And the talk around town for ages was before Ben Simmons even went to college that he's the next big thing coming out of Australia. The Australian media didn't get really behind him at first because, most of the sort of modern Australian media don't really know too much about basketball, but those that do really knew Ben Simmons. And I had a mate who's, all into the Australian media and the basketball industry and stuff, and, he really introduced me to Ben Simmons, not in person, but, to who he was and all that, and he was really, the next big thing coming out of Australia. And, in the college days at LSU, he really showed that, he was going to be the number one pick. He was by far the best player in that draft. He could shoot the ball even before he went to college, and he's shown that he can shoot the ball during his college days. And what really sort of made me jump on the Ben Simmons train was when Shaq got interviewed one day, and he's like, "Shaq, who's your favorite player in the NBA, or who's the best player in the NBA?" And he said, "He's not in the NBA yet. He plays for LSU. He's Ben Simmons." And that really got me into the Ben Simmons highlights, and he's absolutely a phenomenal player. Since then, though, he goes number one, obviously. Comes into the league, shows that he's got the passing ability. His court vision's absolutely amazing. He's got the passing ability that reminds me of LeBron James and Magic Johnson. He's got the size to be, an absolute beast in the paint. His dunking ability is great. His defense is second to none. Obviously, to me, he can guard 1 through to 5, and that's shown his ability to be an absolute defensive beast. And obviously he's got the reward of being on the NBA first defensive team, and he's known around the league as one of the best NBA defenders. In saying that, since he's come into the Philadelphia 76ers system, it's just been a disaster. Trust the process, all this stuff, it really just hasn't worked out. And the main factor being is, obviously his combination with Joel Embiid. We've seen how it can be great, but more than often we've seen how it's an absolute disaster. And it's the fact that Ben Simmons is just too afraid to shoot the ball. And this is really annoying coming from an Aussie who's believed in him from the start. And he's shown that he can shoot the ball throughout college, as I just mentioned earlier. And you see his highlights in the gym and even his pre-workouts. He can shoot the ball, and that's what's so frustrating. And when you look at his shooting technique, it's absolutely fine. He actually has a great technique, and he has the ability to shoot the ball at a high rate. But he's just too afraid to shoot the ball, and I just don't know what it is. The only thing I can think of is it's a mental thing. Someone maybe in his ear. I just don't know. But it's obviously a mental thing rather than a physical thing, because he has the attributes to shoot the ball, and I'm really confident that he can shoot the ball. In saying that, I think he's just afraid of the bright lights. It became a joke. Ben Simmons can't shoot the ball. It's a massive joke in Australia as well. There's even an ad saying when Ben Simmons hits a three, the bloody country goes crazy and all that stuff. But now, after the last couple of years, the last 2 playoffs where they've failed to, put it together, and I really thought this might be their year. They actually had quite an easy run through to the playoffs. You think the Sixers are going to walk through Atlanta. But the difference in that series is Atlanta had shooters. And when you have shooters, it means you're never out of the game. So when the Philadelphia Sixers have all these lapses, Atlanta was just able to shoot their way out the gym. And Ben Simmons is just afraid of the lights. Kobe said it perfectly. He needs to develop a jump shot. Ben Simmons needs to develop a jump shot in order to be an absolute problem in the league. He has all the attributes. As I said, he's a jump shot away from being the next LeBron James, in my opinion. But in Kobe's interview, he's like, he has to develop that jump shot. Otherwise, he'll go to his grave knowing that he did not do everything that he could to be the best player possible. And that's the difference between being great and legendary. Kobe did it. I mean, Kobe's the bloody model for that sort of thing, the Mamba mentality and all that stuff. So does he have the mental attributes to take his game to the next level? And that's something that we haven't seen so far. But in saying that, I think if they do trade him, which they're going to trade him, no matter what I say or any other basketball channel says, the Philadelphia 60s are 100% going to trade Ben Simmons this offseason. But a part of me just really thinks that it's going to be a mistake, because who are you going to get back? Unless you get back Damian Lillard, 100% take that. And in hindsight, I bet you the Philadelphia 76ers really wanted that James Harden trade back. Obviously Ben Simmons was a huge part of that trade talks and all that. I just think they didn't want to give up, Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey and Ben Simmons. But in hindsight, they're probably wishing that they made that trade now. But unless you're getting a Damian Lillard, I mean, who else are you going to trade for him? Kemba Walker? He's got those injury cloud. And I just think Ben Simmons, now that he knows that he has to make changes, he's got away with it. It was an NBA joke around the world that he couldn't shoot, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he really took it that serious. And again, I think it's, all this talking around him that maybe have an influence on that sort of thing. But I think, in this offseason, he's taken his talents into the gym. I see that he's working. It's just a matter, can he produce it? So if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers front office, I'm probably thinking maybe not trade him at the start of the season. Let's really see how he's put in the work, this off-season. At the start of the season, let's see how he goes. Give it one last shot. Maybe whether it's friggin' 1 month, the first 20 games, maybe give it one last dance. As the Jordan bloody documentary says, one last dance. Let's get it cracking. Let's get Ben Simmons in that gym, because I know he can be great. And I just think if you make a quick decision on trading him, you may regret it, and he may go onto a different team, a different scenario, and become the best player in the bloody world. And I know that's difficult to understand, because the whole NBA world's against Ben Simmons at the moment. But if you break it down, you look at the skill set, the only thing that he's missing is a jump shot. I mean, if he gets that jump shot, the sky is the absolute limit for this kid. But that's really all I have to say about, the whole scenario. And trust me, he's going to get traded. But I just think, if a team fully invests in him, and if he gets his mental attitude right, he's going to be a bloody problem, as Kobe said, rest in peace. But let me know what you guys think. Where do you think Ben Simmons is going to go? Is he going to get traded? We obviously know that he's more likely to get traded, but you never know. As I said, it may be a mistake. It may not be. Only time will tell. Can Ben Simmons produce what everyone thinks he can be, what all the NBA analysts think he can be, but he's not showing at the moment? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what moves the Philadelphia 76ers could make, what moves you would like them to make, what sort of players you would like to join the 76ers. And it's been your boy Jay. Subscribe to the channel, like and comment if you do like our content, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.